Hey everybody, it's the Army of Drunks and summer is over. Which you can tell by the number of your friends who now won't shut up about what a great time they had at Burning Man. Still, it's time to go back to school. This is Whiskey 101. It's a whiskey special, kind of a long show, and we have with us Alex Mackay, a little whiskey expert. He's not that little, he's regular size, but this was going to be a much longer show. We did an entire segment on how whiskey is made, but we were very drunk, and it went on a very long time and got very circular, and we'd forgotten what we'd said in the first place. So we cut that segment entirely. If you want to hear it, just join our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/armyofdrunks, and we will give you access to our secret backroom folder full of all kinds of lovely stuff. In the meantime, sit back, relax, and enjoy the whiskey. By the way, I had the best time at Burning Man. It was like a spiritual experience. This one night I got totally twisted on whippets and went running naked with a bunch of Google employees through this art installation, which was like a giant vagina. Warning, the Army of Drunks contains inebriated people talking about horrible things. Please listen responsibly. From the Vision Center in the Costco in Burbank, California, it's the Army of Drunks Whiskey Special with your hosts, Eric Trueheart, Matt Shaw, special guest host, Adria Walden, and our special whiskey guest, Alex Mackay. And now, let's get ready to write some prescriptions for glasses.
I was going to say, I was wondering which way you were going to go. It is Mackay, isn't it?
It's Mackay?
Oh, it's definitely Mackay.
Yeah.
You want me to do it again?
Oh, would you?
No. All right. Alex Mackay, welcome. This is the Army of Drunks Talking Funny podcast, Brouhaha. This is a whiskey special. You see, Buck can't make it.
Nope.
He misses the whiskey.
Yeah.
Vanessa, she can't make it.
She can't make it.
I know she misses the whiskey.
She misses the whiskey.
More
I know for
whiskey
a fact,
for us.
More
That's
whiskey
right.
for us. I know for a fact Vanessa does not like whiskey.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, fuck
I
her
never
then.
liked her anyway.
Yeah. But sitting in for both Buck and Spork is our good friend and friend of the show, comedy writer, Adria Walden.
That's me.
That's you.
I feel like that's like a very big seat to fill. Sitting in for both people.
Well, here's the thing.
That's
okay.
right. They
You're,
both
author,
have
nothing
you're
to
author
do
of the
with-
Oreo
never
Experience blog,
That's true.
which is so you are both a woman
Yes.
and you're black.
Yeah. Neither of them are black, though.
Buck wishes he was.
All right.
So, and so I think that counts.
That
And
evens it
you're-
out?
You're filling both slots. You're filling both
I
diversity
am
slots.
feeling. I am filling two diversity slots. That's true.
With us also is Alex Mackay, who is he's a whiskey expert. Perhaps would you call yourself an armchair whiskey expert or a
I
backyard?
would do none of the above, but
All right.
I think that's being yes, absolutely.
Okay, and you work most recently.
I think it's more of a kitchen floor whiskey expert. but-
it doesn't start on the kitchen floor though, does it?
well,
It ends there.
Yeah.
And you recently have been working for Jameson. Are you
I
want to
have.
talk about that?
Yes, I have. I am allowed to talk about that.
Okay. Before we get too deep into this, I want to ask you. So, you just came back from Ireland?
I did.
And I think a lot of our listeners, because they don't hold regular jobs, maybe have a fantasy
A lot
of
of shut-ins. We love you guys. But
Yeah, I mean, without the liquor stores that deliver, most of our listeners probably wouldn't even get drunk except off Robitussin.
Nope, that's true.
But does Amazon ship Robitussin?
We'll have to find out.
We'll find out by next show.
Tune in next week. We'll do some
Can you
research.
Postmates it? Can you Postmates Robitussin? I think you can because it's from the store, right?
It's from the store.
There you go. Problem
I
solved.
love the store.
Done.
Again, Mr. Shaw. Okay. This is
You got to get one of those little buttons. They got the little
Oh, yeah,
buttons.
the
You just
Amazon
press it,
button,
and
yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
and another case of Robitussin turns up at Matt's store 2 days later.
I
So
think I'm gonna
Alex,
get
though,
that button as well. for
a
Matt's
lot of
house.
people probably dream of working for a distillery. You just did that. Now you weren't making the whiskey, but you were doing other stuff for them
Oh,
up
I
there.
got to do far better than that. I got to taste the whiskey.
And what are the perks of working for an Irish distillery in Ireland?
A gold card at the bar, a chance to go to the Indiana Jones style warehouse and take whiskey directly from the cask, unblended.
nice.
Do you just? I like to think you just sort of put your head under the spigot and like a little whiskey leprechaun turns the knob and you just gargle it down like until he says, "That's enough for you," and he just turns it.
It's never enough.
Oh, it's never enough.
You're never cut off.
And by the way, we have a tiny audience with us today. Say hello, tiny audience.
Hello.
And you, Adria.
Me.
Yeah, what's going on with you lately? You were on the show a long time ago, and now you're back.
I am back.
That's not going to last because you're better than us. And we're lucky
I will
we
always
got
be back.
you.
We will
I
be left in the-
always be
yeah.
back.
What have you been doing? What's been going on in the land of the Oreo experience and you?
Lots of like life and stuff and things. I produced a web series recently called Black Girl in a Big Dress that examines my love of Victoriana and through sketch comedy. So those
So
two
very-
things make sense together.
That's very Oreo of you.
It is. It is.
it's-
A couple days ago, I was driving to the Renaissance Fair while listening to the book Victoria, which is now a PBS special, Victoria, and I was like, Oreo achievement unlocked. I'm like, I don't think I can do much more.
So, we're here to talk about whiskey and what Alice is going to do.
are.
So, if you're at home and drunk so far, good for you. You're ahead of us. But you probably have drunk whiskey before, and you probably have wondered, hey, what's that $40 thing over there on the shelf? And why do people like Irish whiskey over, say, Jack Daniels? And then there's that Scotch thing. What's the deal on that Scotch thing? Now, what we're
many
going to do
questions.
is... And then there's Canadian whiskey. Why does that
What?
even happen?
There's Canadian whiskey?
There's Canadian whiskey. And by the way, we'll get to this. It's a big
The
surprise.
politest of all the whiskeys.
Got a little Canadian whiskey surprise coming. So we're going to survey whiskeys from all over the world and what makes an Irish whiskey different than American bourbon or than a Scotch or than a...
We're not going to survey New Zealand whiskey.
New Zealand
We're not.
whiskeys. Yeah, how is New Zealand whiskey?
There's a reason we're not going to survey
Okay,
it.
Okay.
good call.
Good to know.
Does
Don't
it
go
taste
anywhere
like those
near
little
it.
birds down there? Is it? What is it?
I've never had a bird.
tastes like
flightless birds.
You mean
Birds.
kiwis?
Yeah.
Oh.
Does it taste like hobbits? Is that why?
Is it made from
Certain parts.
hobbits?
It's a little hobbit whiskey. And that's so hopefully when you walk away from the show, even though you can't drink what we're drinking, sucker.
Look at all this.
Yeah, we'll post a picture of the amazing cornucopia of whiskey that
It is
Alex
pretty
has
impressive.
spread out on our table. But we hope you'll walk away
Of which
with-
we're going to drink all of.
we're drinking all of it. There's
Nobody's leaving until these are empty.
easily 4.5 gallons volumetrically.
This is a long show, right?
Yeah.
So someone could just call the police now to arrive in about 2 hours and
Which
revive us,
Costco are we
please.
at?
The Costco's closed, son. There's no one coming for us. Before we do that, as is usual, I like to give the history of what it is we're drinking. And it's not... I don't know if it's interesting, but I'm going to give a history of the whiskey itself. Used as a cocktail.
Okay.
So, by the way, whiskey was invented by Antonio Whiskey, who worked at the Sandy Crack Bar
Wait a
in
minute.
Cocoa
Long
Beach,
Beach,
right?
yeah, Long
Tony?
Beach, Florida,
Yeah.
in 1978.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Tony whiskey.
Hey, me, it's Tony Whiskey here. If you listen to the show, you know that most cocktails have a disputed origin story with at least two people trying to take credit for it.
One of
because-
them
Antonio's-
almost every time one of them is in Florida.
Yeah, or in New York, but
New York,
usually in Florida. Because bartenders in Florida have very little to pick up girls with. So
that's
if
it.
they
They've
can
got
claim-
one
What,
skill.
the Fountain of Youth?
I don't
Vasco da Gama. as-
Vasco da Gama. I don't know where we're going with that. But here's the deal. The word whiskey, by the way, whiskey can be spelled E-Y, W-H-I-S-K-E-Y, or just W-H-I-S-K-Y. There is a weird thing where EY is more common to Ireland and the United States, whereas just the E-less version is
Scotch.
more common in other countries, Scotland,
Okay.
for example. And there's some people who try to say, well, if it's an EY, it's from America, and if it's a Y, it's from Scotland. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
There's no authority on this. Do whatever you want. You might look like a rube. So what? You probably look like a rube already.
Yes.
Doesn't matter. Listen to our show. So just Y-E-Y,
Do whatever
whatever.
you want.
I use EY.
Can you spell it with an I-E for fun?
You can. Only if you're a junior high school girl.
Whiskey!
And you put a little heart over the I, and you put little stars, and then you fold it into the shape of like a little flower, and you just give it to your friend across the thing and say, hey, Tiffany, let's get drunk during...
Get your run during your
social
recess,
study hall.
Tiffany.
So the word whiskey is an Anglicization of a classical Gaelic word, whiskey, Uisce.
Ishkibaha.
Yes, meaning water.
Wow.
Meaning
Water of life.
Well, there's a whole thing, aquavita, water of life. But what we're saying is basically whiskey is Irish for water.
Okay. I can see that.
True. Verified.
So if you have any Irish friends, go rub their nose in that. Now, when you look up whiskey, the history of online, first of all, the first
Now, wait
thing
a
that pops
second.
up is Wikipedia.
Walking down the streets of Ireland, you will see on the ground various cast iron plates, which just say Ishki on them.
Really?
Yeah.
And like,
You know what? I don't know why it didn't occur to me. Probably because I was already drunk and didn't need any more. But to just pop one of those open
and that's just
stick a straw in
full of
and-
booze.
Yeah.
It might just be water. Yeah, but the streets are paved with whiskey in Ireland.
They have an elaborate pipeline network to deliver. That's
Distilling itself, when you go and you look it up, obviously Wikipedia comes up. And then because I go the extra mile, I try to look at least 3 to 4 other sites besides Wikipedia.
good move. Do
Here's
not
what I
cite
discovered.
Wikipedia.
They all say the same thing Wikipedia does, almost in the same order.
Oh, neat.
And yeah,
So accurate.
I know. Turns out they all
Go
start with the fact
Wikipedia.
that distillation
Tiny
was
audience.
probably practiced by the Babylonians in
Wikipedia.
Mesopotamia in the 2nd millennium BC. They all start with that.
Oh, Okay.
Before we even get to whiskey, they start with the whole idea of distilling shit. And they started with perfumes and aromatics. We don't care. They didn't
Nope.
drink those.
Nope.
Well-
Okay,
I mean,
so-
not on good days.
Yeah. Actually, we don't know
Tony
what-
did.
We don't know what Tony
Tony Whiskey did.
Tony whiskey was very big in Babylonia. We don't know what the Babylonians did. For all we know, like they made ceramic jars full of whiskey that they just sat their genitals in. For all we know, that we have no way of knowing
Could be.
what they
Yes.
did. Maybe
Good
like
testicular perfume is hard to come by these days.
yeah,
these days.
Yeah. It's not like it used to be.
not in Mesopotamia. By the way, the most perfumed balls of any ancient civilization.
Yeah. That's very well known.
That is the measure of a civilization, is it
A
not?
lot of scrolls devoted to that. So
so many.
now in the distillation, there's a lot of stuff that happens in the middle there. Like there's Italy in the 13th century. They actually distilled
nothing
alcohol from
happens.
wine, and usually the church did stuff with that.
So we're just glossing over
Yeah.
several
Like
things
this
happened.
incredibly complex piece of technology. Like
And then in
blah, blah,
1983,
On an
brings us
episode
to-
of Family Ties.
very special tonight.
Yeah, and
we
you know,
should do a very
distilling is
special Army
taking
of
something
Drunks.
that's already alcoholic or even something else and sort of making it even
Making
more
it better.
alcoholic. Yeah, making it better. In the 13th century in Italy, there was actually medieval monasteries were big into distilling. By the way, in the Middle Ages. And they used the distillated stuff for medicinal purposes, such as the treatment of colic and smallpox. It didn't help with the smallpox.
No.
I'm guessing. But it made the smallpox way more enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you're choosing between having smallpox sober or having smallpox drunk.
Yeah.
And-
Which would you choose?
Yeah.
But it spread to Ireland and Scotland no later than the 15th century, and it became a common European practice for distilling. And they called it aqua vitae, like you said, and it was usually for medicinal purposes, right? So we're into the 15th century. First evidence of whiskey production comes from an entry in something called the Exchequer Rolls from
Rules of the
1494, where malt is sent to Friar John Core by order of the king to make aqua vitae. So the king is already ordering monasteries to make booze.
Cool.
Enough to make 500 bottles. So anyway, around the 16th century, King Henry VIII, who was a dick, dissolved the monasteries and said no more
therefore, all
monasteries.
the fucking whiskey.
Where all the
gone.
booze was coming from, sending the monks scattering hither and yon. And they
And yon.
basically having no other skills besides being Catholic
And making booze.
and
yeah.
making booze, they basically settled into farms and started making independent whiskey production out in the open. I don't know, like in garages back then,
Sure.
1500 garages.
way to make some
Spare
spiked
rooms.
lemonade out of those lemons.
Yeah,
Good
exactly.
job, monks.
So, by the way, at that point, whiskey still was not aging. According, and then say as a result, tasted very raw and brutal compared to today's versions. I don't know how anyone.
Brutal.
I think
knows
that's
that.
called vodka.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
kinda.
Yeah, isn't it?
Pretty much. Now, the oldest distilling license in the world in which the government actually said here, you can do this, and we're not going to arrest you or burn you down. Irish whiskey from 1608, Bushmills.
Bushmills.
Old Bushmills in Northern Ireland. Now,
Screw those guys.
I got
Sorry,
no.
I just worked for Jameson. so-
Yeah, I know. So like,
Oh wait, no, they own Bushmills.
really?
Do they?
I take it back. I love Bushmills.
Are all the distilleries now owned by basically like 4 big distilleries?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so in 1725, the English malt tax of 1725 shut down a whole bunch of Scottish distilleries. And it all moved underground because we're not going to stop making booze, are
No.
we? And so Scotch whiskey was like hidden under altars and in coffins and available in space, any place they could hide it from the government. It took over 100 years, but end of struggle for whiskey makers in Scotland. Finally, in 1823, the English government introduced a law that enabled the legalization of whiskey production. 100 years of making whiskey underground, and whiskey took off in Scotland again because they had nothing
Cave-aged.
else to do but throw trees at each other, which is what the Scots do. And
We still do. by the
yeah,
way.
and I'm Scottish too. So
Wait, do we have a tree here?
there's one in the parking lot.
All right.
Oh yeah, right there.
Costco has everything. That was also now in the 19th century. They developed blended whiskey, which is a very big thing. Yeah, boo. Always. Most
Oh wait, I'm
whiskey
sorry.
is blended.
Am I supposed to be impartial?
I don't know.
Nope.
Are you supposed to be impartial? No, you can.
Nope.
You can do
You
whatever
can be
you
as
want.
partial as you want.
Have
can
an
hate the thing.
opinion.
Yeah, have an opinion. You hate blended whiskey.
What? Did I
Never
say that?
mind. Okay, so, but here's what I really like about whiskey. It is primarily a product of the English-speaking world. Like,
Wow, that turned.
no, I just think it's nice that we made something that other people actually like, and that it's booze, and that America makes bourbon. People, yes, we like American
Aside
bourbon.
from Netflix.
Aside
Well, I
from
mean,
Netflix, and most people, they grumble about our stuff that we bring over. Like, what about all your tanks and military bases?
Yeah.
No, but we like the whiskey. That's nice. And as you said, Japan's making whiskey now. Taiwan, did you say, is also?
They are doing an amazing job, although it's only one distillery. But yeah,
That's one
Do the,
really
do the French own it?
the French don't own it. No.
Wow. And Canadians and all that. The Canadians.
sorry, what? Who?
The Canadians. Did you
The
know
Canadians
about
make
this?
whiskey?
The Canadians. No, there's this whole country north of us
What?
called Canada, and you know who lives there?
Wait, what?
Canadians. What? It gets
It's a myth.
deeper. It's like okay.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle.
They have their own
Conspiracy
money. It's called dollars, but it looks totally different.
Who let
And
them
there's
do
people
that?
on there you've never heard of. And okay, so like the guy who's prime minister there now is the same guy who does Doonesbury. It's really weird.
I didn't know that.
Wait, Berkeley Breathed is from Canada?
no, but the other guy. Oh my god. And so it's totally weird up there.
Oh my God.
And they have whiskey. So that's kind of the history of whiskey, and I can tell you different kinds of whiskey, but we'll get to that later. And I can tell you how it's made, but you don't care. And I don't mean you guys. I mean our listeners.
Well, then
I'm trying to wrap this segment up. I don't know how to do it. All right.
He's trying to find the door. I'm watching. This is
We had
fun.
a Shaw's Crawl lined up, but he won't do it because
He's
wait,
hungover.
no, I want that.
I'm
Yeah.
hungover.
Hey.
Hey, everybody, we're back.
Hey, we
Okay.
did
We
it.
just had a little production
Congrats.
meeting.
Yeah.
Shaw, I'm really sorry to hear about that, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, it's
But
You and me
so
both.
we've got a whole bunch of whiskey. And by the way, speaking of Canadian whiskey,
Wait, who?
yes, Alex didn't bring any, but I stopped outside the Costco before we came into the Vision Center today. Costco has a Canadian whiskey.
Wait, no, outside the Costco.
Yeah, outside. Well,
That's where you
outside
get
the
the
Costco.
Canadian whiskey at Costco.
They have it
It's
at the tire
outside.
center. I don't
you
know
go to the
why.
tire center and ask for
You
the
get
Canadian
nitrogen
type.
in your tire, nitrogen in your tires,
and
Canadian
whiskey.
And a big old jug of Canadian whiskey.
Costco Canadian whiskey, 1.75 liters, $18.99.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's
What a country.
What a country.
What a country.
bargain.
yeah. So that's the deal on whiskey. We're going to come back here with Alex, but before we do, we're going to find out what is in Shaw's craw.
What's Shaw's Craw? What's Shaw's Craw? It's something Shaw's Craw. It's
Well, you probably noticed I've been a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah, I
and,
have.
I've got a question regarding testicles.
Not going there.
There's nothing in Shaw's Craw! There's absolutely nothing in Shaw's Craw! Do not ask about it! Do not ask any questions! Do not make eye contact because I assure you there is nothing in Shaw's Craw today! Shaw's empty craw!
All right, you are listening to the Talking Army of Drunks Talking Funny podcast experience, and remember, no, there's nothing to remember. Just
Nothing to
stay
remember.
listening.
Just
We got some ads here.
Remember to don't hit
Pause.
Yeah, we're coming
because
back.
this is,
You're the
according to
listener.
our Fiverr guy.
The Army of Drunks Season 3. We're just getting loaded.
Stay tuned.
He's my man. He's so fine and dear. I treat him right with his favorite beer.
Bull. Girls, let me turn you on to the big bold bull. When sip will make it clear, the bull's got more taste than beer.
You big bad bull.
So good it's bad. It's the Schlitz Malt Maker Bull. No one does it like the bull.
Save Teddy.
No one does it like the bull.
Hey, so this is where we were going to originally have our How You Make Whiskey segment, but we were so drunk it didn't come out. It took a long time. If you want to hear the whole thing, join our Patreon campaign and get access to our back room of stuff, but we just wanted to give you fair warning because as we go into this next segment, we are way drunker than when we left. That's all. Enjoy.
Hi, everybody.
right.
We're back.
We are here. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on, ladies and gents.
We're not here?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, right now it's all about the Army of Drunks, Season 3. We are just getting started.
Loaded. We're just getting
We're
loaded.
getting loaded.
just
That guy.
getting
Just
loaded.
getting loaded. And we are here with Alex McClure and McCoog. Can I just replace all the vowels in that word with the R's? And McCoog.
No, that's Welsh.
Oh, I'm sorry. And
sorry,
we're
yes.
ready. We're in Whiskey 101, and we're going to start talking about the differences in
You know what?
character of the countries of
I
whiskey.
just have to stop you right there. I'm far too drunk to actually be doing this effectively.
Oh, you know what? That's good, because so are we.
Yeah,
All right.
We're
all
on.
right, all right, all right.
So what country, I mean,
We all
there's
have the
America,
same
we-
No, no.
handicap,
Let's
boy.
start with Canada. No, let's not start with
No,
Canada.
we're gonna start.
Nobody
with
has ever
Japan.
said that ever.
Japan.
Yeah. Oh, you know
Whoa.
what? I don't know anything about Canada. So, fuck. Let's start with Canada.
No. Canada,
What?
by the
No,
way.
no, no, no,
All
no,
right.
no. Let's start with Canada.
We're starting
Canada.
with Canada. And by the way, the Canadian whiskey we got is the Costco brand, Kirkland Canadian
We
Just
whiskey.
picked it
Canadian
up on the way
whiskey.
into the store.
Bought 1.75 liters
Oh,
for
that.
$18.99.
That's
Blended
worth.
Canadian
that's worth
whiskey.
a curl. You know.
Yeah.
It's,
Stage.
Oh yeah, you
Aged-
can
okay,
curl
this is-
that, and
This has been aged 6 years.
really 6 real years or
1,
Canadian years?
6 Canadian years. They're
Okay.
metric, so
Canadian,
it's
so it's like
6.
45 minutes.
Because they're farther
45
north,
minutes.
so the years
So,
pass much quicker for them.
Surface of the
So,
globe. That's
Alex,
very
as,
true.
as the seasoned whiskey
What? No,
taster,
no. Don't ask me about this.
no, taste
Taste
the
it.
taste the damn Canadian whiskey and tell us
All
what
right.
you think.
I will say, in terms of tasting, the depending on who you are, you should rinse the glass, be that with water or the whiskey itself.
Okay.
If you are Scrooge McDuck
All right.
and you have $1 trillion million,
If you can
Yes,
use
yes,
whiskey
you
to clean
rinse
things
the glass
Dump it
itself.
down the drain.
You know,
All right,
open
so
this bottle
you
of water
rinse the
here.
glass, you get one
Yeah.
of them little snifty
rinse
glasses.
it. Yep, absolutely. All right,
All right.
so rinse the glass, then you swirl it.
Swirl it so you feel
swirl,
French,
swirl,
so you feel like you're
swirl.
making
Oh,
a
yeah.
higher income
You-
bracket than you are.
Absolutely. You look at the legs or
sorry,
tears.
Oh yes, as it drains down the side.
Absolutely, as it drains down the side.
What does that tell you?
Ah, fuck if I know.
Doesn't
Why?
matter.
No, it doesn't matter. No, it matters.
Round.
It has
I like
to do
it.
with the wood. It has to do with the age. It has to do with the distillate.
a bit-
It has to do with the Marangione effect.
Okay,
But we don't give a
that's-
shit
you're losing
about
it.
this.
It's a bit,
No.
It's a bit. Oh,
Drink your Costco Canadian
did.
whiskey and see what you think.
What do you think?
Yes, it seems
It's a bit cough
oddly
syrupy.
there's
Bit
sweetness
cough
on it.
syrupy.
insincere.
It's a little syrupy.
Well,
It
cough
seems-
syrupy specifically.
You should nose this first.
Nose the whiskey.
Yes.
Nose the
and
Costco.
by doing that, you should do a brief, like in and out.
Okay.
And, sorry, the glassware, you should have a glass that is capable of actually holding the
Like a wine glass.
the aroma in
rim
it.
that- a rim that's
This
narrower
could
than the
be,
body.
One of those little,
sorry.
one of those little glasses. those
I
little
would
wine glass
recommend either a Copita glass, which is for sherry, or
Okay.
a Glencairn glass.
It is a Glencairn
yes,
glass.
what
That's
you
what
said.
it
It's a Glencairn. It's a Glen Fry glass.
So,
I have a
Glen
question
Fry.
about
It's-
nosing.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Someone taught me once that you should sniff it with your mouth open.
Yes. Oh, all right. No, I'm not there yet.
Oh,
Absolutely.
well,
I would agree.
I was in the
Well,
gifted
jump
program.
around, man. It's the 21st century. Nonlinear
it's
thinking
first
is
it's
possible.
the glass. First it's the glass. All right.
right.
All right. Yes. The difference between the two is only the Copita glass has a stem on it. It's like a very small wine glass.
All right.
If you're,
I'm not
All
going
right,
to a
fuck
bar
it.
and ask
All
you
right,
for
we're
a
gonna move
Copita
on.
glass.
All right.
I'm not going to do that.
Excuse me, barkeep. Do you have a Copita glass?
Get out.
all right. So you are trying to nose, and there are 1,000 different whiskey wheels, and
They're taste wheels,
Yeah,
right?
they're taste wheels.
And it's like trying to chart all the the
This
100
is-
different
this is
flavors
like
in a whiskey.
what the fuck is that Dan Brown novel?
The
I
Da
don't
Vinci
know.
Code.
Oh, Da Vinci Code.
It's like the Da Vinci
Yes,
Code,
It's
yeah.
trying to unlock the Da Vinci Code.
And by the way, I looked at the whiskey wheel, the taste wheel they had there, and it's like if there's any DC Comics fan out there, if you see Grant Morrison's chart of the multiverse, it's like that. It's that
it's that sort of
ridiculous.
thing.
Complex.
I
Thing,
feel
yeah.
it's overly complex.
It is.
In my opinion, it's overworked, but I have that same opinion on wine. Like
No.
there's wine I enjoy, and there's wine that I enjoy less.
Yes.
We're not going to write a paper on this.
Well, and
I'm
you know
gonna
what?
I'm going to drink my fucking wine.
There are any number of whiskey wheels to suit your particular purpose,
Right.
and it is.
Well, that seems quite
none
biased.
matters more than whatever the hell
Than
you
what
feel.
like. Yes. Now
is
that is some
important.
good advice I've heard on
right.
wine, and I've heard that on whiskey as well. That is it's what do you like?
What do you like?
That's terrible advice. What you like does not enter into this.
No,
No,
you should. This
that
is what
terrible
you're
advice.
supposed
You should not
to
enjoy
like.
this.
All
No,
right,
this is awful.
I will
It's
go
a-
into this. However, whiskey.com.
Oh, fuck those people.
Fuck those guys.
I don't know. Whiskey.mag.com. What do they recommend?
They have 8 categories of smells.
So do I.
One would be cereals.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
me.
Which would be about.
I smell like Cheerios.
Those are
Yeah.
cereals are not Cheerios.
All right.
No.
Grainsy.
Those are the grains.
Okay, what's the next one?
Next would be fruits.
Fruits. Those are the fruits.
Those are
We know what those are.
estery
All right.
compounds.
Fruity.
Next would
Like-
be
like
floral.
me. Floral, like flowery.
Yeah,
Flowers.
Like Adria here.
like a
Yeah.
potpourri.
Because she's a girl.
Next,
Sexist. Ding.
next would be peaty.
Petey, like the dog from
The dog from Little Rascals.
All right.
Like the
so this
Smells
is
like
a
a dog.
background. However, there are a very few whiskeys which are peated, which is the way that you malt your malted barley.
Oh, really?
And that is in Scotland and occasionally a few other countries which import peat from Scotland generally, and it lends a very smoky or medicinal flavor to
So
it.
by putting the peat in with the barley when you're malting it, you get
Yep.
that little smoky flavor.
Yep.
Do they smoke the peat? Do they roast it? Or is
Yeah,
it just,
no.
No,
Well,
they
they
use it-
burn
it's a
it
fuel.
in say Irish.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
smoky
a
treats.
yeah. No, it's a
Burn
fuel.
the
It's
peat.
it's peat bogs where they'll
Peat bogs.
sometimes find old dead
Yep.
guys in them.
Oh, that's great.
Those things.
Old
but
dead
yeah,
guys.
that's how
Smoked
they find them is they dig
dead
up
guys.
Smoked dead
'cause it's-
guys.
Oh man, I want dead guys in my whiskey. Okay, so that's your peaties.
Yeah.
Is
So, all right.
sound
A
mossy.
big difference between Irish and Scottish whiskey is that most Scottish whiskey is peated, and Irish whiskey is generally, except for the single distillery Connemara, is unpeated.
unpeated Irish.
Unpeated. Yes.
each of these things just bring heat to the process.
Well,
Okay.
not
It's
so much
peat-
heat as smoke.
Well, smoke
it's
on the peat,
smoky,
but-
smoky,
yeah.
smoky.
Heat,
salty,
smoke on the peat. All right, got
iodine.
it.
Yeah.
Yes,
all
I
right. All right.
understand.
We're gonna move on to the
Not
next
at
one.
all.
That would be woody.
Got it.
Very
Woody
woody.
flavor.
No jokes
like
here.
from
Smells.
Toy Story.
Then
Yeah.
whiny. as in wine.
me when I'm
Not
tired.
not as in
I
whingy,
don't-
as they say in the UK.
I
The
don't
whinge,
like this
yeah.
whiskey
Whinging,
very
yeah.
much.
You're stupid. Yeah.
The next would be fainty.
That's when you pass out from drinking too
Makes
much.
you lose
No,
consciousness.
this is-
I get that.
This is a
Most-
hard one. This
Most
is,
drinks, actually, I've found most drinks get fainty the more of it you drink. You get towards the end.
What
you
does
get about
fainty mean?
3
Is that
o'clock,
like
4 o'clock
umami?
in
It's
the
like
morning.
the umami of
No,
of
no.
What does that
whiskey.
even
It's
mean?
Yeah, no,
losing
actually,
consciousness.
it's absolutely true and not true. Fainty is
True and
is
not
the
true.
umami in as much as it's misunderstood. However, it is nothing like umami in that it is what some people call the off color. It is. All right, so this is going to go into a totally racist area. However,
Oh, for crying out loud.
yeah, no. The Irish think of Hershey's chocolate as
we
In
tasting like.
words of chocolate? Like, how
Right,
is that going to
yeah.
get racist?
We were doing so well.
Yeah, we were. doing so well. The Irish think
really.
of Hershey's chocolate as tasting like baby sick.
not
That's
racist.
so
They refer to it.
racist.
That's not racist.
All
That's
right.
so racist.
No, all right.
Against babies.
Baby sick. So baby vomit. However, faintiness is an actual very important part of Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that tangy,
It
vomity,
is a
It's
bit
tangy.
of a
It's a
tanginess.
sour milk
blue
sorta.
cheese.
soury.
Oh,
It's
Okay,
blue
it's-
cheese.
all right.
It's, yeah,
Well, that's
it's
why. That's
baby
the
vomit.
All right.
Isn't there is the story that Hershey's chocolate is, or at
Made
least
of baby
one-
vomit.
it was made with baby vomit.
Okay.
No, at some point, I think during the war, was made with the powdered milk that was used was slightly sour, and that gives it that sort of tang, and that became its
Signature.
signature.
That's why it
flavor.
sucks.
But yeah, but it's a slight the at least that I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I may
that
be
makes
wrong,
sense.
but I've heard
Wow.
that the milk in the milk chocolate of Hershey's signature flavor is slightly sour milk.
Wow, I've never heard that before.
That's why I
But
don't
if you
eat
think
it.
about it, that it's
Now
got
I can
that
never
flavor.
eat chocolate again.
I mean, now they just replicate that flavor
Why?
because that's their thing. I don't think they
a
actually
little bit
let
of
milk go
baby
sour.
vomit.
All right,
Yeah,
get
all right.
through the wheel
All right,
so we can
The
drink.
last one would be sulfury.
Which tastes like sulfur.
Tastes like
which
hell.
tastes like sulfur.
It's like
the
hell.
hell.
It's
Which
hell.
is
brimstone.
Hell,
And
yeah,
All
brimstone.
Canadian whiskey.
Sulfur,
Because
yeah.
Canada is a certain kind of
No,
hell.
no.
It's like you're
no.
having a beverage
But not
with,
sulfury.
with
All
Dark
right.
Lord Satan himself.
But
All right,
this
so-
Canadian whiskey is not very complex. Maybe because it's from Costco. I can't tell whether it's the
could be-
Costco or the Canada. What do you think, the Costco or the Canada?
The Cost Canada.
I already drank all of mine. What's the Costco type store? Canadian Tire. It's like if it was
It was Canadian Tire?
Canadian
See,
Tire store.
I think for our people at home who cannot taste any of this,
That's
we
their
need to
cost.
come up with a better metaphor because I can't.
It's like
I can't tell
cloying.
how much baby vomits in here.
No, it's
so.
very-
Here's what I'm going to say, and let's assign an actor to each whiskey that helps describe it better.
Okay.
And I feel like this may be. Hang on.
But we haven't gone all the way through the tasting process yet.
That's fine. We'll get to it.
No, we have because it's
Okay.
entered my body. That's
I
have gone.
I put it
through
in
the
my mouth
tasting
and I
process.
tasted it. That's
But-
the process.
So you ting it on your mouth, and do you pull air over your tongue or something? Is that what you
All
do?
right. So, okay. So after the nosing, the nosing is important because nosing is about 80% of your taste.
Okay.
Shockingly, I unfortunately, I'm
Look,
full
we don't make the
disclosure.
rules. That's fine.
Full disclosure, I have a cold, so
Right.
anything I say
nose is
now
broken.
is completely
Right.
inaccurate.
Okay.
However, nosing is thoroughly the most important part of this process. All right, so then you go on to tasting,
No, it's not.
which I would suggest, and I will fully admit this right off the bat. Tasting has everything to do with your own personal preference.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything I say is complete bullshit and is only
Glad you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. is only important to me
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
because everybody tastes differently. All right. So that said,
No, that makes sense.
the thing that I have found to be the most informative in terms of tasting is first to smell it. All
Sniff
right.
it and then put some in your mouth is what I'm getting.
Put it in your mouth. All right. So then you smell it. You smell it again. You
Yeah.
smell it again. You smell it again.
You keep smelling it until
you
someone.
keep fucking
It's
smelling
like
it.
a game of chicken. Everyone
is.
keeps smelling it until someone breaks down and tastes it first, and that person loses.
And I would agree. I would totally agree with that because honestly, smell is the most important part of this.
Okay.
What if you've tasted it already?
Oh, we've been
Oh,
drinking
you're
this for a while.
You've done it wrong.
No,
At
you
least
can
20
go back to it.
minutes.
You
Oh
can
my
go back
God.
to it and smell it.
Oh, I
You
can
can
smell,
smell
it.
after you
I can smell
taste.
after I taste.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's
You can
fine.
keep smelling, tasting,
Here's the
smelling,
thing.
tasting, tasting, smelling, smelling,
Throughout the
tasting.
day,
That's an old
Yeah.
thing I had.
This is going to sound disgusting, but you're
as
going to
long
have
as it's not-
nostrils that open and close. There is one dominant nostril, and it changes
No, you're thinking
during the day.
I know, I
You're-
knew
You
that.
know what? No, I get a lot of people make this mistake. You're thinking manatees. Manatees have nostrils
A
that open and
dominant
close.
manatee.
Mine don't.
No,
Mine don't.
apparently
Manatees, they do.
throughout the day, you have one nostril that is more open than the other.
Yes, exactly.
Because the human
How do you-
being, the
how do you
human
know?
nose swings like a pendulum.
Exactly.
have you been-
like
have
a
you been following me
fucking
around watching?
dirty
How do you-
whore.
I,
yes,
I,
no,
I,
no,
you
no.
know,
I
the
have
first
a-
time I've heard this, and I don't study the nose.
People are talking about my nostrils.
not your nostrils.
Oh,
your
well,
nostrils
no,
are dead
I'm
on.
talking
Your
about
nostrils
your
are like the
nostrils.
You
fucking.
just told me that I have one nostril that opens
well,
and
you,
closes.
the grander you, not you. Your nostrils are like the
All
fucking
right,
prime meridian.
That
You're
was a
like
little-
Greenwich
that was a
Mean
little-
Time.
That was a little
You're
creepy. That's a lot of information to know about me,
your
but-
nostrils.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's
No one's watching your nostrils
All
when
right.
you're asleep. No.
All of this has to say
very
Yeah.
good.
that you should smell it, you should nose it with both nostrils, and
Oh, for
that
crying
means
out loud. When are we getting to the drinking?
wait. That means you go to one side, you go to the other. You
Okay,
go to one side, you go to the other.
All right.
All right,
Both smell about the same.
come on, do it, do
Okay.
it.
I feel.
All right.
Yes, Adria.
Has anyone else tasted it yet?
Surprisingly, the Costco Canadian whiskey not particularly good.
I feel
All
like
right.
it's, no,
All right,
it's the
next
Martin
one-
Short
wait,
of
wait,
whiskeys.
the next step would be tasting it.
rubbing it in your eyes.
Yes,
Does that happens
rubbing it-
next. All right.
This is the
It's
most
the best.
How
complicated.
can you hear this whiskey?
How can a one-part cocktail be the most complicated
When I-
thing we've ever had? We've had drinks on this show that involve egg whites
and whole eggs.
and a massive and just huge lists of
Absinthe.
ingredients. This is one. This is a thing that involves pouring it in the bottle, and this is the most or pouring it in the glass.
Yeah. And yet
this
it
is
is
the
the
most
most
complicated
torturous.
one. I know.
torturous
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Because and I smell it, kind of vanilla-ish, right?
All right. So then normally,
Tasting some rubber.
yeah, you move on to tasting it. All right, take a sip,
Yeah. Okay.
hold it in your mouth.
Okay.
Swish it around. You want to get it to
do I have
all
to do
parts of
that?
your tongue. You
Oh,
want to get to
God.
underneath. You want to get to the back. You want to the front,
more I
the
do
sides.
that,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
This whiskey was
Extremely
so
personal.
Much better when
It feels
I
like
didn't
an
put it-
exam.
Oh, God. This is awful.
It's not great.
I'm actually drinking the Jameson cask one, but I
All
like
right.
a
Oh,
lot
that's
better.
delicious,
I'm
that
doing the
stuff.
same thing. That's
I will
very,
tell
very
you
good.
this.
We're going to get
All
to
right.
that at some
Yeah.
point.
I'm just gonna go on a limb
right.
here. So
Yeah.
this Costco Canadian whiskey.
Yeah, we don't need it.
All right. First of all, I think we're ready to move on.
Nobody
All
has
right.
I don't
Oh,
know.
that's fine.
I don't know what the traditional notes are.
Yeah, I have
Distinguishing notes
no
of-
idea.
of
This
Canadian
was not
whiskey.
my whiskey
No,
choice.
Costco is answering a question that nobody asked with that. So let's
I mean,
just.
there are decent Canadian whiskeys out
Sure
there.
there
I
are.
assume, like
Sure there
are
Seagram.
there?
Seagram? I don't fucking know.
Not
Seagram
Seagram.
7?
What's
I
it?
don't know.
There's a nice Crown Royal, I
Is
think.
it? It must be nice. Comes in a velvet bag.
It does. It's a bag you can put
Everything
dice
in a
and things
velvet
in.
bag
you
is
know what
nice.
else comes in a velvet bag?
Shaw's balls.
Yes.
No. Okay.
Wait,
so
I haven't seen those. I'm sorry.
No, that's
you
probably
don't have to see it to
that's
know
that's
it.
for
Everyone
the best.
knows
Well,
it. You
no
can tell
one
by the way
sees
he
it. They're
holds
in a
himself.
velvet
Look,
bag.
They're in a
That's
velvet
what the
bag.
fucking velvet bag is for.
This whiskey, because I think we should compare him to actors, is what the fuck's his name?
It's nobody on SCTV. It's not as
No,
it's
no,
not-
no. I was gonna at first
they're far
until I
better.
actually did the whole inhaling it and chewing it in my tongue and all that shit. This is maybe the Dave Thomas of whiskey. It's very pleasant. It's very, but but maybe not. This isn't funny.
Dave
But,
Thomas.
and this is like the Steven Seagal of whiskey.
Was he Canadian too?
I don't think so. But
Okay.
this stuff, it's like it starts. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, whatever. That's like fine. It's
Then
innocuous,
pow.
whatever. And then the closer you
All
get
right.
to it, the
All of a
more
sudden,
unpleasant
So,
it
all
starts
right.
to
So
be.
do
about
you
it.
want me to tell you what your average whiskey you should do on this in this case? All
When
right,
it
so
sucks,
the first
mix it with Coke, and then
first
get
taste-
shit hammered and go home with a stranger, and then wake up with a whole
You know what?
brain full of regret.
All right.
You can. I think you're okay mixing this whiskey.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that you're not supposed to mix good whiskeys.
Well, this isn't good whiskey.
with Coca-Cola or things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, my opinion on that, you'll get looked down upon if you mix good whiskey with
Macallan,
but-
Lefroy,
but- but-
15 with
But at the
Diet
end of the
Coke.
day, it's your fucking whiskey. You can do whatever you
You can
want.
do what you
yeah.
want with it.
Oh yeah,
All right, I have heard this, and I don't necessarily ascribe to this, but what I've heard is the first taste, it's a small taste of
Yeah.
whiskey. You are numbing your mouth. The second taste,
Jesus.
you are acclimatizing your mouth.
The third taste, you're numbing your
And
soul.
the third
still-
taste, you're actually tasting it.
This still
So-
feels kind of like a salty sort of like the first. I'm just saying, it feels dark. The first taste numbs
A little dark.
you.
You're not quite sure what's. Yeah.
The second
Yeah.
Oh, I get
climatizes
ya.
you.
All
Like
right,
it feels
let's-
like
let's make
someone
you-
grooming their
All
victim.
right,
Right.
all right,
It-
all
look,
right,
there's
all
a
right.
grooming in.
Let's give
There's a
Canada the
grooming
benefit of the
involved.
doubt.
You're
They're,
right.
they're,
All right.
they're a friendly people.
No,
and
let's
they've been
not.
good to
Let's
us.
not. Let's not
move
give
on
them-
to a new
all right,
country.
We're gonna move on to the second one.
All right.
The
Yes.
second one would
None
be
of
the,
you know anything about Canadian whiskey
right.
now.
That's
the
fine.
second
Doesn't
one
matter.
Would be the Japanese.
All right.
Okay. Is this a Suntory?
This is Nika.
Nika.
Jap-
All right,
Japanese
so
and angry people.
I have chosen the 5 next ones based on trying to hit as many different categories as possible.
Okay.
This one specifically is a grain whiskey, which means that it is probably mostly corn. It is not a malted barley. It is not barley. It is a blended whiskey, but at the same time, it is also a Japanese whiskey. And
So what are you saying? It's good at math? That's
It's-
really racist.
It's very good.
Thank
at
you.
math. Oh, this
All right.
has no age statement, which means that we have
Wow.
no.
It also needs a court
friggin'
advocate.
clue
So it's
how
like an
old this
OkCupid,
is. We have no clue how old this is.
It's lovely.
But grain whiskey
This
in
is
general
lovely.
is
Damn.
is very is sweeter.
It's very sweet, this
Yep.
whiskey. What's the name of this again? Sorry.
This is
Nika.
Nika.
Nikka.
Coffee.
C-O-F-F-E-Y.
Now, coffee is spelled C-O-F-F-E-Y, which is after the Scotsman, which is a continuous still. It is not a pot still. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with the beverage coffee.
Right.
This is a continuous
That's
still.
quite nice.
This
That's
is a
quite nice.
very fast distillation process.
What's a bottle of that going to set me back?
That bottle will be $55.
Okay.
Wow. But the thing is,
Depending.
you're going to drink
Yeah.
every sip. This is
You're
going to
gonna
last
Yeah,
months.
no, that's delicious.
gonna
That's
last
very
a
good.
long time.
It's sweet. It's got a heat to it. Definitely,
Yeah.
that's the alcohol, obviously. There's a graininess to it. Wow.
No, that's really nice.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
All right.
If this whiskey, if it was an actor, who would you say it was, or an actress? This feels like a very actress. This is an actress.
This is a Japanese
Wow.
whiskey.
No,
I don't know a lot of Japanese actresses.
There's a femininity to it. You're right.
Yes, yes.
Is this like a?
Michelle Yeoh. No,
Yeah, you know
she's
what?
Chinese.
She's Chinese.
yeah.
That's racist.
Racist.
Okay. Let's just do the most racist thing we can do right now and just say any Asian actress will qualify. Okay,
All right.
It's not right. We
All
know
right.
it's wrong.
So,
is this a
based
Michelle
on,
Yeoh?
No,
or-
hang on. Theoretically, all right. So I will say this: tasting notes wise, I am generally of the opinion that you taste whatever the hell you feel and you enjoy it, however the fuck you feel.
Right.
Yep.
That said, I will read off the professional tasting notes.
All right. What a
in-
racket that's
in-
got to be. That's
in
amazing.
an attempt to, it's not entirely. I would put it this way.
It's not
I think
a racket.
that as you
I'm
are
a dick.
as you are new to the whiskey profession in terms of tasting, it's not entirely bad to read professional notes so you can understand what particular whiskeys have in terms of notes, so you can assign them to that.
Okay.
There are
Yeah,
some ridiculously expensive smell kits
Yeah.
that you can get specific to the tasting notes of whiskey.
Okay.
We don't.
But-
Nobody needs that unless they become a
Nobody needs
sponsor.
it,
In
all
which
right.
case,
In this
everybody
case,
is gonna
all
need
right,
one of those.
The profile
No
is
smell kits for us.
A carnival, candy filled. While it
Yeah.
is slick, it is not sticky sweet
That's
on your
true.
palate. Some vanilla and cinnamon
That's true.
are added to the flavors, found along with honey, wine, and peaches.
I don't know if you know what. None of that. I don't disagree with any of that, though. I don't know how much of that I would have said on my own.
Yeah.
What is it? Now here's my question. So Michelle Yeoh, even though she's not Japanese,
you're still.
wait,
yeah, she's elegant.
Oh no, you're
and-
not
but feisty.
Japanese.
Sure.
I'm not Japanese.
You are not Japanese.
I'm not Japanese. No.
No.
Sorry to break that news
I don't know how
to
to
you
tell you
all.
this. There are black
man.
people in Japan.
No, I believe you. I'm just not one of them.
I haven't seen them. But
I've never been to Japan.
neither have I.
I'm
For all I
just-
know, Japan could be a huge fiction perpetuated by the American government.
I was gonna
Like
say,
the Bermuda Triangle.
based on my
Exactly.
racist googling, was Rila Fukushima,
Is there a racist Google?
yeah.
who was in the Wolverine, and she looks like this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love that photo.
Yeah.
That's who I chose.
Okay, that's great. Is there an overall flavor profile for Japanese whiskey? And I know that's very broad.
That is very broad.
But when you taste a Scotch, for example,
I
there's
would
something that says this is
say
very Scotchy.
All
and
right,
this is
my own
bourbon,
personal
very bourbon-y.
preference, and this has nothing to do with reality. However, my own personal preference is that Japanese whiskeys, as of 10 years ago, were trying to replicate Scotch, and they did a very poor job in terms of the peated whiskeys. Since then, they have gone away from that. They have tried to make it their own. It's a much more mild whiskey, and I think they have done a very good job in that realm.
It tastes mild
I get
in the
that.
same way that a bourbon is a little bit mild, but it's kind of complex in a way that most bourbons are not, I would say.
The Japanese are amazing technicians. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to say about them racially,
Right.
racistly.
Why are you looking at me
Why
when
does
you...
this come? How does this get so racist so easily?
How did we get here?
I think that when they pulled away from the peated,
From trying to make a
from
Scotch,
when
a
they
Japanese
were trying
Scotch.
to pull away from a Scotch, I think they've done a far
and
better
try to make
job.
Japanese
I
whiskey.
actually heard a guy talk who worked for, I forget which Scottish distillery, but he worked for them, and he said they actually hired them as consultants.
Absolutely, they
to
did.
come over there.
Yep.
And what, after being there for a while and tasting their whiskey and looking at their process, they said to the Japanese, look, here's what you need to do. You need to make whiskey that tastes like it was made in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to stop making whiskey, trying to make whiskey taste like it's taken in Scotland, because what is unique about Japan is what is going to make your whiskey unique. And apparently they have. Also, I enjoy Michelle Yeoh in most movies she's in.
She's Chinese.
Okay.
What?
I think. Yeah.
Oh, for crying out loud. All right.
I feel
let's-
like that's a lesson for all of us, right? Like we should just lean into who we really are.
What if who you really are is like boring or stupid?
No, but that's what makes you special. You know what I'm saying?
I've
Like,
spent all this time trying to be somebody else, and it would be.
Who have you been trying to be? Abe
there would-
Vigoda?
Well, I don't know. We're working on it.
Okay. All right.
Japan has very much tried to copy Scotland. So
Until now.
Primarily,
Until
now that they
even
love
now,
themselves.
They are primarily malted barley, as far as I understand it. They have the single malt variety, the single grain variety, the blended malt variety, the blended grain variety, and the blended variety. Now, this is not something we've talked about to date. However, single malt means it does not mean that it is a single barrel. It only means that that particular distillery, any number of malt whiskeys have come from that distillery and they've blended them together.
Right.
This is actually a really big point of contention in terms of the average understanding of
A lot of people think
whiskeys
single
is
malt
single.
is one
The
cask.
word
Is
single, yes.
cask.
The word
And
single.
it just means it came from the same.
It just means it came from the same
distillery.
building.
Yeah.
All right. So next
You know what?
country.
Let's go to the Irish.
Let's go to the
Ireland.
Irish.
All right.
We're leaving Japan.
Magically delicious.
We are going to go to a Redbreast 12.
Yay!
All right. So Redbreast fills two categories in terms of Scotch, in that it is a single pot still and it is a sherried whiskey.
But technically, it is not
cask, but
Scotch
it's
because
aged.
it's from
No, no.
Ireland. You can make Scotches in Ireland.
It is whiskey.
All right, but not Scotch whiskey.
No, it is not
Because
Scotch
you said
whiskey.
in terms of Scotch is what you said.
Oh,
You've
then
been
I am
drinking.
I am a horrible racist. Then a horrible
Why
Scottish
are you
racist.
racist against the Scotch?
No. I'm not.
Let me
I'm
count
not
the
racist
ways.
against Scotch. I'm racist for Scotch.
Fair enough.
All right.
God, I love that
So,
so much.
Redbreast is.
Oh, it smells.
It's
Irish
so
situation.
good.
There's a burn going on there. I like it.
You know what it smells like? It smells like how
Heaven.
There's heat
All right.
to it. It tastes hot.
So, the mash bill, as we call it, that is the ingredient base for Irish whiskey, generally is malted barley, unmalted barley, which is different from Scottish in that most Scottish whiskeys do not do unmalted barley, and that was based on tax reasons, which you will find a lot of reasons, because you could claim yourself not to be a full whiskey if you didn't have, full malted barley. You'll find a lot of whiskey ingredients
There
are based on tax reasons.
crazy
oddly.
laws.
Now I have to
involved.
say,
Yeah,
drinking
yeah.
this Irish whiskey here, it's a
enjoying
little peatier than the Japanese whiskey. I know technically it's not supposed to be.
It's
peaty.
not peated, however.
It's a little. I don't know what to call it, like mossier or something.
Okay.
There's something a little bit more
So-
organic in here.
Irish whiskeys in general are used with malted barley and unmalted barley. Unmalted barley gives a creamier mouthfeel.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Stop it.
Mouthfeel. God
sorry,
damn it.
Sorry. Sometimes they use corn. However, different from the Scotch, they traditionally used anthracite.
Anthracite.
Or which
Well, we all
to
Smokeless coal.
Yeah,
I've spent enough time.
smokeless coal.
Yeah.
That's a very yes.
It looks
very
like
good,
coal, but it
Sean.
doesn't.
Like
yeah.
this-
And the difference between Scottish and Irish is that the Irish whiskeys generally, this is not a rule, but distill 3 times instead of 2 times.
And
Scottish whiskey is usually distilled twice. American whiskey is usually distilled once. But Irish whiskey is usually distilled 3 times. This is generally thought of in or attributed to the smoothness.
Okay.
Well, so if you were to say to somebody, "Oh, what? Yeah, I'm running out of vocabulary." What is generally a profile what makes Irish whiskey distinct from other whiskeys in the world? Would you say?
All right, so Irish whiskeys are generally smoother because they are distilled 3 times,
Yeah.
which means that they have less of the heat of alcohol, even though they are just as they have just
Alcoholic?
as high an
Just as boozy.
ABV
Yeah.
as other whiskeys. They have a more rounded feel to them.
but
Generally, American whiskeys are distilled 1 time. They're much more fiery. They're much more harsh.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Scottish whiskeys are distilled 2 times. However, they're also generally peated, which means they have a smokier, saltier taste in them. Irish whiskeys are they're distilled 3 times. They generally have a much more mellow taste to them. They are far more smooth, is the general terminology for them.
Okay.
They work very well in cocktails.
Right.
And for drinking, if you are smooth drinking,
if you want to drink
not-
the whiskey, go ahead. If you want to drink it, sure.
yeah.
All right.
If you're not into, if you're not into very singular flavors.
What actor
harsh flavors.
would you then compare? This is more of an actor than an actress, I think. But it is
think so.
It is a
But it's a-
debonair
it's a
sort of.
palatable.
You know who this is? Who's Henry V? Who's that guy?
What?
He's not Irish. Kenneth Branagh?
I don't think he's Irish.
It's not Irish.
No.
This feels like a Kenneth Branagh.
No,
It feels a bit-
no.
It's got power, but it's also sort of a little bit
But
smooth.
it's also like very quite
Heart's
sexy.
War.
Nothing
Who the
against-
hell is?
Nothing against Kenneth Branagh, but it's.
You don't think this whiskey is Kenneth Branagh?
I think no.
Who
I
do you think it
it's-
is?
it's
Chris
quite
O'Dowd
sexy.
from the IT crowd?
Oh well, I do love Chris O'Dowd.
Oh, not quite that far, but somewhere in between the two.
That's
somewhere in
a
between
scrappier
yeah.
whiskey, Chris O'Dowd.
You're narrowing it down.
It's a
Pierce
handsome
Brosnan?
whiskey. Haley Joel Osment? No way.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh no, because he's a little smarmy.
Remington.
This
He's a
whiskey
little
is
bit.
not smarmy.
This doesn't taste smarmy to me at all.
no.
Okay, fine. Here's a really nice picture of Kenneth Branagh. Fine.
All right. So wait, I have to back up. Pot still whiskey. This is a single pot still, which means that it is nothing. There are no column stills involved with this distillate.
Right.
A pot still will produce a spicier flavor.
Okay.
And a creamier mouth
Feel.
No.
So
I'll tell you one thing. After
Yeah.
tonight, I don't think I need to hear the words mouthfeel ever again.
You know what
I
I'm
think
thinking?
I'm where
It's-
I'm
Now,
yeah.
Daniel
the other
Day
thing
Lewis.
about-
Is this a
Right
Daniel
up.
Day Lewis? He's too sweaty.
He's a little
Yeah.
sweaty.
Well, he's too intense. He's quite intense. Okay, maybe I'll.
Branagh is
other
not
thing-
Irish, but I feel like this is a Branagh.
When I googled
The other
Irish
thing
actors,
about-
Branagh came up.
Darla Brian.
Is he? He's
Darla
Irish?
Brian is.
This is this
is my
whiskey
favorite
is a
Irishman.
Kenneth Branagh. I'm gonna go on the.
All right.
Go on the way.
I'm
The
gonna go
other thing
Darla
about
Brian.
this whiskey is that it is primarily sherried, and those contribute a lot of raisin and
is where the
dried
raisins
fruit
come from.
flavors.
For fuck's sake, this is where the raisins came from.
We've
We've
back
talked
to
about
raisins
this. So
again.
let's move on to a next
All right.
country.
Next
Where we go
country.
next?
Scotland?
What the?
Or America?
fuck
Where are we
is my
going
next
next? Let's
country?
go back
I
to
don't know.
Canada.
No,
Let's go back to that
not
shitty
going.
Kirkland whiskey
Definitely
I had.
not going
So
back
many
to
things I
Canada.
love about
Should I
Canada.
throw this bottle of Kirkland whiskey out the window?
Yes.
Yes.
What will you give me if I throw it out the window? Like, 'cause seriously, I throw it out, it hits the sidewalk, it shatters, there's whiskey everywhere. I could actually throw this out the window right now.
Like a
hearty-
rousing round of applause.
And a hearty handshake.
I
will,
no,
I
not
will
worth
give
it
you
to
a
me.
hearty handshake.
No, not worth it to me.
I'm
I have
afraid
to decide if this throwing
I'm-
it out the window is worth it in itself.
If I had a Laurel,
I don't want a
would give you a
handshake or a
Laurel and hearty handshake.
I don't want a
but-
Laurel.
Well, what do you want?
Okay.
You're
I don't
driving,
even
you're
know what I
driving this
want.
hard bargain. What is
Surprise
it you
me.
want?
A hearty handshake. I don't know. Or I'm thinking about this. I may throw this out the window. And you know what? I live here, though.
You probably
And if
shouldn't
it
throw it
shatters
out the
on the
window.
sidewalk.
I
But
mean,
it
there
would be
could be
really poetic if I
ramifications.
did.
If I lived here,
What if I hit a
wouldn't-
homeless dude?
That
What
would-
if he was Canadian?
not-
What if it was Rick Moranis who hasn't worked for Honey, I Blew Up the Kids? That
But
would
he
be
just-
even
but he
more
just
awesome.
We
released
are-
he just released an article that he's just been like chilling and like
Let's not.
raising his family.
Let's not do
Don't
that.
crash me with reality, man.
All right.
And we're not going back to Canada. We're not
All right,
on the road
so
to Toronto.
The next
Okay. That
stop
should've-
would be
that-
Scotland.
Let's go to Scotland. I love those people.
All right. So the next stop in Scotland would be, as much as I hate to admit it,
Yes.
it would be
Ardbur-
Johnny Walker. And the reason I went with this one
enough.
is because this is a very rare. This is
Johnny Walker Green, you said.
Johnny Walker Green.
This is Green Label.
It's Green Label. This is one that most
had it
people will
before.
never go to because most people will either go to black or red, which are the lower echelon,
They're the
or they'll go to
commoners.
blue, which is that. Wait, I'm sorry. What? What is objectionable? about
Black is
echelon?
a lower echelon.
Or they'll go to Blue Label, which is super shishi. However,
The green is between the
green is middle of the road.
Okay,
Now
it's like a $60
it's
bottle
a
of.
shockingly it's around 55.
Okay.
The difference is this is the only Johnny Walker, and it is one of very few Scottish whiskies or whiskies in general, which is a vatted malt, which means it is a blend of single malts. Now, what that
Interesting.
means is it is nothing but malted whiskey, which means malted barley as the component.
Very malty.
However, different companies, it's different distilleries that they blend together. And that is Talisker, Linkwood, Cragganmore, and Caila.
It's been blended from all over Scotland. It's
Yes.
It's the Scottish mutt.
Absolutely.
Of whiskey.
It's
It is a
pedigree-
mutt of single malt.
It's a pedigree
single
mutt.
malt
It's
Yeah, well, it's very. I get
ya. I
feel
really
it's
like
very
this.
malty. It's
this
very
one,
smooth.
yes, this is
Yeah.
nothing but
Yeah.
single malts.
Yeah.
It's a combination of single malts, and I would say that in general, blends are they're just that. They take all of the singularities and they kind of smooth them out, so it's a smoother.
I mean, I think a lot of
that's
what you got to bear in mind is a lot of the blends, a lot of the cheaper scotches are blends.
Yes,
So it's easy
yes.
to make the mistake that all blends are cheap, which isn't the case.
Well, I gotta say this. It is smooth. There's lovely flavor to it. It doesn't have quite the character as some of the individual distilleries that
Right.
I've taken.
Absolutely.
And I don't think it's intent.
But
it's
you
not
know what?
trying
But
to.
that
it's
is
not
the-
trying
that
to.
is
That's the
absolutely a
point.
selling point. Yeah,
Yeah.
for some people, that is what they want.
So this is not like, say, a Liam Neeson. This is not even the Sean Connery.
No.
This
is
is not even the
Billy Connolly? No,
it's not
no,
even the
no,
Billy
no,
Connolly. It's
no,
not
no,
even
no.
the Ewan McGregor.
No,
You know what? No, it might be. It might be David Tennant. It's flexible. It's got some range. It's right down the middle. It can do a lot. It can.
It's versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
It's
with
not
David
the
Tennant.
David Tennant of
Wow.
Scotch. Holy
Yeah.
shit!
Wow.
It can be a little bit. It's a little bit eccentric, but not too eccentric.
not too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Holy shit.
All right.
Nicely
That's a
done, sir.
breakthrough right there.
Nicely done.
Yeah, but like if you're gonna get a Scotch, there's that middle of the road Scotch. But if you like off the top of your head, 3 distilleries for somebody like saying, I want to try some Scotches that are out there, like a Highland, an Islay, and then something else. Like, what would you off the top of your head? What would you
Out
go
of
through?
the Scottish?
What's the Sean Connery of scotches?
the Sean Connery. Well, no, we're gonna get to that. We're gonna
All
get
right.
to that later. So that's gonna
Okay.
be the 5th tasting.
Jesus.
So we've done 2 Scottish in this particular range.
Well, okay.
So I want to jump ahead. So maybe we should jump to American whiskey.
Let's jump to. We're not jumping ahead. We're okay. But we are not going back to Costco, Canada.
No, we are
thank
definitely
you.
not going
No,
back to
thank you.
Canada.
And by the way, I know we're like hiding out in the Vision Center right now, and I don't want any of the floor people who are here at night to hear us complaining about the booze. But the
Yeah.
Costco booze, not good.
It's not amazing.
very good.
No.
It's not
I could
amazing.
throw it out the window.
No, yeah, I mean,
Put that on-
I'm gonna
It's
throw it out
actually
the
been
window.
removed from the table of.
I mean,
No,
the-
it's over here. I've
whiskeys.
sequestered it. It's
Yeah.
not going near the rest of the
It's
good.
on
There are the
punishment
photos.
right now.
The cool thing about getting locked into a Costco over at the photo center, you can go through people's pictures, so that's fun.
Yeah.
You go
Yeah.
through those,
Fewer
the
nudes than
envelopes,
you
they
would
leave,
think.
They leave those envelopes right out. I
Oh,
haven't
yeah.
been to Costco in a
Just
very
right
long
out.
time.
I used
Way
to.
fewer
One
nudes.
of my first jobs was at a photo processing lab.
Oh no, kidding! I bet you
So
saw all kinds of cool stuff.
Everyone's pictures, yes.
Yeah.
How many
Fun.
naked pictures?
There was only one solid roll of like fully nude pictures, but the bummer was this was when I was like 21 years old, so someone who was 40 seemed like ancient. And this guy who's probably 40, 45 years old brought in a roll of film. It was all pictures of him and his girlfriend in states of Congress.
fucking.
But then his like 80-year-old mother came
Fucking?
to pick it up.
Ah!
Yeah. And she was the
Did she
sweetest
check the
thing.
roll?
No, but she was so sweet. She's like, "Oh, I think my son dropped off, so I'm just doing him a favor." But we actually
Did you,
There
you
are so
should have
many
made
layers
her
of
check it.
story
Well, here's the
there.
problem, though. Here's the problem, though, is we were not technically allowed. If we saw like nudity in photos, we actually had to say like we can't develop this because
Right.
if something was going on, then we could be complicit in crimes.
But
so
fuck
I
that.
so I had to say to her,
Oh.
we
couldn't
unfortunately
develop that,
can't do this again.
and here's why.
And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, the content of the photos is not something." And I'm like 22 years. And I am also at that time. I was the most naive child. I was still a virgin. Like it was the most like, and they made me do it because they were mean
Here, you
people
go
who I
tell-
worked with. And
you
I
go
was
tell
like,
the old lady about.
You go tell the old lady her son is fucking in these photos. That's the greatest
no
thing
good.
you've ever done.
"Thank you."
So America is next.
We're gonna do bourbons.
Where it's
Fuck yeah! All right. So America, we are showcasing 2 distinct
we got 2
aspects
bourbons in America.
of whiskey here.
All right.
One is corn, and the other, which is a primary component in bourbon.
We love our corn here in the US.
Tennessee whiskey.
Yep.
The only difference between bourbon and Tennessee whiskey is that Tennessee whiskey is
Made in Tennessee.
no.
It's
Song
not.
about-
No.
Where's
That
it
is-
made?
That is
New York City.
Get a rope.
is filtered. It's charcoal filtered
Okay.
through
Charcoal.
maple.
Through charcoal?
Through charcoal.
Maple.
Is it filtered through charcoal?
Maple. Yes.
That's what
Okay.
they
Maple
want you to
charcoal.
think.
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. This is Knob Creek single barrel. The other. So the other
Sorry.
aspect
It's the river full of
that
Not sorry.
the other checkbox that this is getting
It's quite
is
dark.
this is a cask strength, which means it is a higher ABV. This is a
It's cast strength. What?
60
Who
plus.
is this? Oh, Knob Creek.
Okay.
No, this is
Sorry, I
a
wasn't paying
60%.
Now, because most whiskey is then
In the 40s.
diluted with water.
Yes.
Before it's because it's so
all
intense straight out of the
whiskey-
cask.
All right, so I'm going to back up here. Irish whiskey generally triple distilled and comes out in the range of 80 to 90% alcohol. Scottish whiskey generally, though not exclusively distilled twice, and comes out in the 70 to 80 range, again, not exclusively. And American whiskey is generally distilled once.
Okay.
American whiskey is hotter, which means more alcoholic feeling. There's more burn.
Just
to
smelling this, I
Yeah.
can smell the burn.
Have you taken a sip yet?
It smells bourbony as fuck, by the way, in a good way.
Yeah.
It's
Two
cornish,
distillations
It's like vanilla-ish. It
well,
feels like It's almost like it's like booze candy.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean, that's not sweet, but it's booze candy.
To make it extra to drive that feeling home.
Oh God damn it!
Yeah,
Cask
it hits you.
strength
Yeah.
will be much higher.
But then at the end has like a little cherry note at the
There
very
is.
end.
No,
there
it's
is.
like,
There's a sweet, like, oh, okay.
It's like
no, it
it's
was
like
worth
it's
it.
like a vanilla
It's
and
like
cherry.
it slaps you, but then
so
kisses you right
this
on
is
the
something else that I
nose.
never mentioned before, but American whiskey is legally required to be matured in virgin oak.
Yep.
They char it,
Which is fresh wood,
American
wet wood.
oak. American oak has a much more porous. I'm sorry. It's actually no. I'm sorry. It's not porous. It's not as porous. Therefore, they have to char it.
The other one.
No,
More
they're-
porous.
Therefore, they have
Way
to
more porous.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
way-
Not
way-
porous
way
at all.
less porous.
It's the
So
opposite of
fucking
porous.
No, no.
Repels all liquids.
So the pores are so
Wait, no.
big. They're
it's
so
the
big. They're
pores
not
are
big at all.
No, they're not. They're the other one.
tremendous. They are
So they burn it.
tremendously.
Not because it
Huge.
helps. They burn it because they're angry at it for not being what
Purely
they
out of
need
hate.
to
Yeah.
make the whiskey. But this is the law. So fuck everything. Burn it down.
Oh,
Burn
wait.
it to the ground.
You know what that
Anarchy.
reminds me?
Fuck all of this.
Pretty much all whiskey,
Anarchy.
all whiskey laws really come down to about 3 years worth of aging.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is Knob Creek cast strength. Knob Creek
This has
castrated.
nothing
Say it
to
again,
do with
say it again.
cask strength.
That was fun.
It's
Say it
just
again.
you have to age.
The Knob Creek.
Yeah.
I'm drinking right. I'm sorry.
This one is
I'm
cask
drinking
strength. Yes.
Knob Creek
Yeah,
cast
yeah,
strength.
yeah,
There
yeah,
you
yeah.
That is a strong fucking
That's a
cask.
It is.
tough
man.
Quite
Now,
strong.
all right.
Yeah.
So I would say this in terms of tastings. Many
hurts.
professional tasters
I bet if
would
you open this up
require
with some
or
water.
recommend
Yeah.
that you water it down. You take one taste
Yeah.
at full strength and
Yeah.
then you
And
water it down.
and
Now,
you'll get different tastes. You'll get different flavors.
Here-
I've done
here
that
you
in
go. Here you
the
go.
on the
so
thing.
this allows it to theoretically open up is
Yes.
the
It
term.
opens the
Right.
flavor.
in terms of smell.
Okay, so smell. I have to say that after putting the water in this,
Yep.
it has opened up.
Yeah.
But I can still taste the taste. Smells and taste that I tasted before. It's very vanilla-y. It's very sweet. It's very smooth.
Yep.
Like you said, like Adria said, the cherry. That's the word
Yep.
you used.
Yep.
Yep.
We're getting hammered, and it's delicious. I almost like it at cast strength better, just because I feel like I've walked through fire. to
earned
get
it.
this.
I'm gonna need to get a
I would
close-up on
agree.
that watered
In
down
general, I like these unwatered, but however, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter. With whiskey, it's however the fuck you enjoy it the most. Is it on the rocks? Is it is it watered down? Is it neat?
What if I enjoy it with someone I love?
No,
Naked.
fuck that.
That's not
Okay.
permitted.
That-
I'm sorry.
that's not
you can't,
acceptable.
What?
No, we
All right,
can't have you
fine.
doing
Racist.
that.
Whiskey is absolutely
goddamn
best
racists here.
enjoyed by yourself in a dark room.
Yeah, no, whiskey is for single
Silently,
people.
or
Crying-
maybe
crying
with
just a
time.
little
It's
bit.
playing
Tears.
A little
Like
bit.
not
yes.
too many tears, just enough.
just enough
yeah.
to have the
I
regret.
didn't even mention the tears of whiskey, which are what people in the wine world would call legs.
The legs.
They're called
The
tears.
gams.
Of
You know what?
course,
They're
they're fucking
called
called
tears.
tears.
Yeah, of
Damn
course
it.
they're
You know
called
what?
tears. I don't need to
Nobody-
know
It's
that.
a lonely
All right,
drink.
I'm not going to
So-
get into it. It doesn't fucking matter because nobody cares.
What's next? What's next on
All
our
right.
tour?
So I think we only have one left, and that is back to Scotland. Scotland has a lot of different
Oh, was this a hard
areas.
bag?
Okay.
So I chose to showcase two different areas. This one is the Isla region, which is the one that I enjoy most because I enjoy stronger flavors. It's a small island. It has I think it has 8 distilleries on it. I could be wrong, but they are known for their much saltier, smokier whiskeys. This one is an Ardbeg 10. I didn't want to go completely overboard.
But I get. Oh yeah, no, it smells like I'm near the ocean.
Yeah, this one smells like the ocean. Yeah.
I have a question.
And
Yes.
Yes.
Why is this Ardbeg?
Ardbeg.
Ardbeg.
Why is it? This is very light in color. It's quite yellow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Knob Creek quite
Yep.
mahogany almost like
Okay.
a light. Why?
That's
What-
actually that's a very commonly used term, mahogany. Mahogany.
Are you calling me common?
There are two
Oh, yeah.
in
Regular?
terms of visualization of whiskeys. There is the wood type, and there is the age, or the aging.
Oh, I see.
So the longer you age a whiskey, the darker,
darker
it
it
gets.
gets.
But secondly, American whiskey barrels, which, by the
Charred.
way,
Oh, they're charred.
which are charred, as
Yep.
opposed to sherry casks, Spanish sherry casks, which are toasted because they have
Toasted.
a smaller pour. And no, they actually have a larger pour. What am I
pour
doing? I
will
did
just
this. I
swallow
screwed this
you.
up
It's
last
so
time.
big.
Yes,
It's like you could put your dick in that pour.
Yeah.
That's how big.
I
the
can
pour
Actually,
is.
I can put my dick in that
You
pour.
could put your dick in that.
I can put my dick in that pour.
You
Wow.
could.
You know, actually, and this gets actually back to the Japanese, which is
If
a
you
very
don't, you're missing out. By the way,
rarely
please put your dick in that pour
discussed
before you leave.
wood.
Please.
Japanese wood, which is also called Mizunara,
Which is
a,
Japanese for wood.
a very difficult,
Just call it.
a very difficult wood to.
Wait, is that really how that works?
Yes.
Japanese wood, which is called Mizunara, which
Yeah.
is Japanese for wood.
Japanese for
No,
That-
I have no idea.
that
That's
is-
the wood.
That is my favorite sentence I've heard all day.
However, Japanese oak is a much more difficult wood to work with
Because it's like
It
very
is
grumpy in the mornings, and it like needs a long time. You have to like
back up.
you have to compliment it like a lot and a lot and a lot. and it's
No,
like
no,
this
you're doing great. You're doing
endless
great. You're doing
well
great. You're doing
of
great.
need.
But let's back
Yes.
up for a minute.
Yeah.
I'm
What
enjoying it.
actor would you describe that Knob
Oh,
Creek as?
sorry,
Because that's
yes,
an
yes.
intense
So it's an
actor.
American
The
actor.
Knob Creek.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
An
that's gonna-
intense American
And I would say
actor.
either Nero or Pacino, but there's an Italian overtone of those that isn't in.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Heath Ledger.
What?
Heath
Really?
Ledger.
Okay.
I was
He's
going
an
to go
intense young
with
man.
Sylvester Stallone.
That's
There's no,
Italian-y
there's no
too.
subtlety to this.
No, there's no subtlety, but the intensity
No,
is legit.
no, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Uh,
I was thinking someone like that, like just
Like a
yes.
Ledger.
Christian Bale.
Is it a Christian? He's not
he's
American.
not American.
No, I know.
I know.
You know,
It's
if we had it to
hardcore.
do over, we could just go back and figure out which Batman you would describe
Oh, wait,
this
wait,
whiskey
wait, wait.
as.
All right, let's start this over. Wait here, let's start this over.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, we don't.
Costco Canadian.
George Clooney of Batman.
George Clooney.
George
It's
Clooney.
George
All right.
Clooney. Okay.
Number 2 would be Nika Coffee Grain Whiskey.
Oh, very sophisticated. That's Christian Bale of Batman.
That's the Christian, but it's sweet. There's
All
no
right.
edge to. Yeah, okay.
All right,
okay.
number 3, I think, was Green Label. Johnny
Oh
Walker.
wait, actually,
Green
can we
Label.
back up? Is the Canadian one the Adam West of Batman?
Ah,
I
no,
was-
that's it.
yeah.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
no, because there's something really pleasant about Adam West.
No, no, no.
Yes. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
No, no, but we have nowhere to go from there. I think
You know what?
I think Costco is Adam West.
Oh God, no, it isn't. It's
No?
George
No?
Clooney.
All right, so then, but then
It's
you
on
go
the
to
surface.
Japanese.
It's pleasant, but the more you look at it,
No,
this
no,
is
no.
a really bad idea.
But then you go
At
to
some-
Japanese,
yeah.
you go to the Nika.
I'm
What is
realizing-
that one?
I'm realizing
Nika's Adam West.
What?
we're getting
what?
there. We're getting there. Michael
What?
Keaton.
No, no, wait.
No, the Nika's
getting
Michael
there.
Keaton.
No, then we go. No, then we go to Scottish Green Label, Johnny Walker. That I think would be
Michael Keaton.
That would be your Michael Keaton.
Which
sure.
is who's the voice actor?
You know
who
what-
does Kevin Conroy? Who is the Kevin who is the voice of Batman in the cartoons, the Paul Dini cartoons?
No, I'm just realizing something, Eric, and this is I've realized this is one of the more terrifying statements I've ever made. That at some point we are going to run out of Batman.
What? No.
No,
What do you-
damn
what-
it, no.
what do you-
Do
what
we
do you
have
mean?
more?
All right, well, go.
All right, but no. All right.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
Tiny
yeah,
audience.
yeah.
Tiny audience.
What you got?
Lego.
Lego Batman. We've got another one in the hopper. We got
Okay,
Lego
we got
Batman.
another one in the
Sure.
hopper. Who's
Lego
that?
Batman.
From Arrested Development. Who's the actor?
Oh, what's his name?
Yes,
Joe.
Yes.
you've got IMDb. All right, so I'm going to back up. The Canadian.
All right.
Canadian, that's
Is
the
Lego
George
Batman.
Clooney.
All right.
That's
fine.
that's
Okay.
no, that's the George Clooney because Lego Batman
okay,
is fun.
Yeah. Then we go to the Scottish Green Johnny Walker Green Label, which
The
would
Green
be
Man. That's a
Lego
good
Batman.
solid. We like that one. It's
That's a
right
Lego
down the
Batman.
middle. We
All
like
right.
it.
So then we went to Redbreast, which was the Irish.
That's the
sherry.
Keaton.
pot still.
Maybe that's
That's
a
the
little
Keaton.
Keaton.
That's
That's
that,
the
Keaton.
Keaton.
That's
All
the
right.
Michael Keaton
Have we
at
gotten into we haven't
Then
gotten
we
into
went
Kilmer, have we?
to Knob Creek.
I'm going to say
single
the
barrel.
Knob Creek is Christian Bale.
All right, now I
because it's
can get
very
that.
intense,
Spicy.
spicy,
intense.
All
It's
right.
very
spicy.
intense.
And I totally agree with you because then we go to Ardbeg 10, which
Might
would
hurt ya.
be Sean Connery.
Sean
No, he was never Batman.
Ardbeg 10. I'm just drinking the Ardbeg 10 right now, and that's a very smooth.
Oh, I wish we could go
Did
into
we assign
what's
the
that?
Keaton already?
You know what? Sean Connery should have been Batman. We should
No,
give
I'm
it to him.
Batman.
I was just
Ardbeg 10 is the Sean Connery of Batman. By the way, the Ardbeg 10 is delicious, and it's so complex.
It's, all right.
Maybe we can
And it's
include-
super smoky. I mean,
We
yeah.
could include Alfred's in this, so we've got. There's a Michael Caine option.
Did we do? Is this sort of the Michael Caine? Now where does Val Kilmer fall in all of this?
Nowhere.
No way.
He was fine. He was
I
just
know,
he was
I
just
know.
forgettable.
God,
yes.
no. Which means he's
You know what?
Canadian. He's the Canadian.
Val
whiskey.
Kilmer is
He's
the
the
Canadian.
yes. He's the
All
he's the
right,
he's
all
the
right.
the
But that
Costco
would
Canadian
make
whiskey.
This the George Clooney of Batman, which is
No,
so wrong.
No. We bump everything up, which would mean this would be the Christian Bale.
But who's the Knob Creek? That is the Job of Batman. That's the Lego Batman.
Not,
See,
yeah.
this isn't landing.
Will Arnett is his
That's
Will-
not the Will Arnett though.
Will Arnett. That's what I was trying to. Yeah.
Is
think of.
is the Knob Creek? I think the Knob Creek is the Christian Bale, or is that the Will Arnett? This is a sophisticated Batman.
No.
right
I would
here.
think
Yes,
no,
yeah.
absolutely.
I'm going to go on record. No,
I think Ardbeg is the Christian Bale.
no. You're gonna violently disagree with me. Everyone in this room is gonna violently disagree with me. But the Ardbeg is actually the Adam West. Here's why.
Okay.
All right, it's very
me
palatable.
hear it.
Thrill me.
On the surface, it doesn't seem that complex. But the more the more you
No, it's absolutely
Maybe a little
complex.
on the surface, maybe a little doughy.
Yeah,
then
but
you,
the more you experience it, the more you realize there's layers. To
No
this.
disrespect
This is
meant in that.
This
I'm
is you thought this was simple, but this is actually a very sophisticated
subtlety
portrayal of
to
a
it.
whiskey.
There's some
and this is
sophistication.
why the Ardbeg, with all respect, is the actual Adam West. Maybe that's not right, but it doesn't matter.
I'll
All right.
back you up.
You know
I'll
what?
back you
I
up.
feel like I have gotten totally off track in terms of drunkenness here. I'm gonna back up here and say, all right, in terms of tasting, do whatever the fuck you want, enjoy it. My own personal opinion
I
is
do like the Ardbeg.
smell it as much as you possibly
Get a-
can.
get
and
a
That's
that
good-
my
includes-
philosophy of everything.
Get a good
And that
sniff.
includes both nostrils.
By the
And
way,
you know,
that's my-
and you know, there's the other trick of resetting your, and this is a wine tasting trick, is sniff your arm, sniff yourself. Your nasal passages, your sense of smell is tuned to yourself, so
Well,
you can
that true?
sniff your arm. Sort of resets before, like if you smell something, it's like I can't really smell much because I was just smelling something strong. Sniff your arm and then smell it, and you can, and it's like, oh, okay, it kind of resets everything back to zero.
What it
Resets
comes
the
down
scale.
to is that whiskey is one of the most complex alcohols, and
Yeah.
you can spend as much time as humanly possible and beyond whatever is reasonable
Getting into
to
this.
appreciate
Filling
it,
a
or you
coffee
can just
table with
you
bottles
can
of-
fucking shoot it if you want.
Right.
This is all up to personal preference. I tend to smell it as much as I can. I tend to like to open it up. That can be through a few drops of water.
Drops of
And
water.
I
Far
think-
more than other
I think
other
the
alcohols.
phrase "open up the flavor" is legit.
It-
because
it actually, yeah.
it
That's not
dilutes
fancy
it
sounding.
in a way that
Like that
makes
baby
you,
vomit thing that we were
able
talking
to
about
notice
earlier.
all the different flavors going on. in
The
one
other thing-
the same way if you add water to Adam West, you start to notice all of the ways that
It really
his-
does open up the.
It really does open up
the
Adam West.
the
and
subtle
I would open up.
nuances.
Would you want to open up Adam West?
Opens up
At
the
66,
both ends.
66 Adam West, not Family Guy era Adam West. I mean, you really to pour water on it. Seriously, everyone.
I would-
I'm true. You know I'm right here.
Sure,
I
are
would
we-
also argue that time
Are we in the Batmobile?
opens up
Adam
whiskey.
West.
And Adam
Sorry.
West. Absolutely.
You know, it just occurred to me as far
What?
as
That we're
as
wasting our
scotches-
lives? That occurred to me a long time
No,
ago.
I already knew that. That's
All right.
that's right there. That's the whole
Because I'm
time.
wasting
That's
my
right
life
in front of me the whole time.
But by the way, that presupposes life has value. But go ahead.
I don't. Yeah,
There's
I ne-
few things
I
as
never,
cheap on this earth as human life. But go ahead.
I never just remember that I'm wasting my life.
Okay.
That's what I'm. That's happening the whole time. If you've got a liquor store near you that sells miniatures, you can do you can do all right because
lot
I
of
have
these.
seen Green Label, the little,
Yep.
little $6, $10 bottle of Green Label or whatever.
Label.
You
No, wait,
can go
green
do
Spot
your
or Green Label.
Green Label.
All
I've
right.
seen, yeah,
All
they,
right.
they
Yeah,
make that.
that's-
I've seen Lefroy in little bottles. You can go in. You can pick a good Isla. You can pick a good and try these out without dropping $60 or $80 on a bottle of something you might not like.
I will tell you that the 5 that we have tasted here. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the 5 that I bought. There's a 6, which is the Costco. How much is the Costco? 18. $20.
$19. $19 for 1.75 liters of Canadian whiskey.
For a
So,
jug.
These 6 whiskeys all together are about $270.
Whoa!
Now that's
I could
not-
buy a
that's
DVD
not
player for
crazy.
that.
That's not in terms of whiskey. That's not crazy.
Right.
Right.
Those
These
5,
are all
5, 6, 5.
around the $50 mark.
So
except for-
of that, 1/6 is less than $50. It's like
Yeah.
$45.
Yeah.
Around 50
For by the
bucks,
way,
yeah.
a whiskey is so good, you will probably just drink it straight, and it'll last you 2 to 3 months, really.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
a long
just
time,
drinking.
yeah.
And that's worth it. I mean, because that's like
Yeah.
that's spending less than $20 a month on whiskey.
We-
and God damn it, for
we
a good
chose
whiskey,
these
that's worth it.
for reasons of being a good representation and hitting various categories of taste profiles, and they are relatively affordable.
Yeah.
I
like
have bought a
Bevmo.
bottle
If
of
you-
scotch for $250 easily.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
You
But if
could,
you-
for $250, by the way, you could probably go to Las Vegas and get a hooker. So that just shows how much more valuable whiskey is. Good whiskey is than and just look seriously, dudes. If you're doing that, get a girlfriend because there's so many beautiful people in this world, and there's probably someone out there for you. So look, spend your money on your.
But what if you
whiskey
just want to have
and
no
then get a
strings
girlfriend
attached?
to-
Sex
not
when people
on your
walk away?
girlfriend.
to share it with.
Craigslist.
No, Craigslist. Dear Craigslist.
That's
Do people
not how
still do that?
Craigslist works.
Dear Craigslist. Dear Craigslist, here's what I'm looking for. Please help me out.
Dear
Do people
Craigslist.
still use Craigslist?
I don't know if people use Craigslist
I don't know.
anymore.
I
I don't
have
use
no idea.
Craigslist. I mean, maybe if I'm like trying to buy a car or
no.
like a-
I
I got a
if you're trying to
footstool
buy a
off
flea-ridden
Craigslist.
couch.
I got a
but-
footstool that was.
footstool. All right.
All right, you bought a footstool on Craigslist. Never mind, it's
did.
another story. All right, ladies, and
Is
we're
this
going
a
to break.
fetish
We've been
thing?
talking for a very long time.
Yeah,
as-
way too long.
You've
I'm
been
sorry.
listening for less because I've edited this shit. But hey, we're going to be right back. We're going to wrap this up. You've learned a lot about whiskey. We've learned a lot about Craigslist and Batman. So hey, this is the Army of Drunks. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Stick around. You don't need to do anything again. We'll be right
Keep
back.
driving. You got
driving.
a long
Keep
ways
Pay
to work.
attention.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.
Hey folks, it's Eric. Just a reminder to go to patreon.com/Army of Drunks if you want to support us because, hey, we support you and everything you do. Just the other day, you called us at 2 in the morning, you were sobbing, and we said, come on, you're better than this. Pick yourself up. Point your shoulders towards the horizon because a new day is there for you. So go to patreon.com and give us a couple of bucks. Or just go to iTunes or Stitcher or whatever and give us a review. Every 5-star review makes us taller. I don't know. Okay, back to the show. And we're back. Hey, buddy. And we're hammered. Andrew is here. Alex McClure is
Sorry,
here.
what? Oh yeah.
And of course, Matt, as always.
Hi, I'm right here.
We're gonna wrap this up, and it's been a long trip around the world for whiskeys. But here's what we're gonna do. I had a choice here, and one was doing a Canadian theme, Name That Sex Act. But instead, what I'm gonna do, we have a little game. We have the bell ready to go.
Yep.
Thank you.
There it is.
We're gonna do a little contest here and a little quiz. And the question is, I'm gonna read a name out, and the question is it a made-up Scottish distillery, a name I am making up, or is a real Scottish distillery that I am simply mispronouncing? And so the winner of this...
Give us an example.
Well, for example, Knockadoo.
Knockadoo.
Yep.
Do you actually want the real answer?
Yes.
Oh, I guess that means it's a real
That would be
distillery.
a Scottish distillery.
That's a real Scottish... I'm just mispronouncing it. So, all right. So we're ready to go, and I'm going to keep score here.
So our answers are either
I'm making it up. All right,
Either real
another
or fake.
example.
Made up or
it's
real
either real
started.
or fake.
Real or fake,
Okay.
like most quizzes on this show, because it's easy
I'm
to
sorry.
come
Wait.
down to that. All right, ready?
Yeah.
And go.
Real.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
Real.
God, no, I haven't
Wait,
started
I'm sorry,
yet.
what?
Glernberger.
What?
Glernberger.
Glernberger is fake.
No, Glenbergie is real. It's in Moshe Space Side. All right, so that's nothing for you. All right, Glen Ord. Adria.
Glen Ord?
Yeah.
Glen Ord is what you said?
I said Glen Ord.
I don't think that's real.
No, that's real. Sorry.
Oh.
All right, Glen Free.
I'm sorry. This is
Glen Free. Anyone, buzz in. Come on. Yes, Adria.
I think that's real.
That's not real. It's Glenn Fry.
damn
Glenn
it.
Fry, the Canadian musician. All right.
Fry.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Abainderg.
I'm sorry. What?
Abainderg. Adria?
Arbane Dirt?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
You heard me. I can't clarify. That's the nation
I
of the
think it's
game.
real.
Yes, it is. You get a point. First point on the board. Okay.
Wait. All right. Whatever.
It's Abhain Darag, Isle of Lewis. It's
Obviously.
It's an independent distillery. Okay. Perenniurg. Perenniurg.
Perennial, like the flowers?
Perniger, I think that's fake.
That's fake. Yes,
Hey,
Matt has a point.
I'm on
Okay.
board.
All right. Ballmark.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's real.
That is real.
that is
All
real,
right.
but it's
you have 2
Bowmore.
points. Okay. Dargenfergen. Yes.
I'm gonna call fake.
That's fake. All right, Adria's taking the lead. All right.
wish it was a
All right, here we go. Kurgan Balls. Kurgan Balls.
Fake.
Kraken balls? Is that what you're saying?
Kraken balls?
Kraken
Kurgan Balls. You heard me.
I think that's fake.
What? All right, you're God. You're pulling ahead here. All right, Arsfonger. Arsfonger.
Fake.
What? All right, Alex gets a point. Yeah, Arsfonger is fake. All right. Glerntarchus. Glerntarchus.
Yarn Tarchus?
You heard me. You know better than ask me to say it right. Come on. Glerntarchus. Matt?
That's a real one.
That is a real one.
Yay!
It's actually on Glentarchus moment. It's a space side. It's fine. All right, okay, we're in the honking. All right, here we go. All right, Glenworse. Glenroos. Alex?
Yeah, that's real.
All right, yeah, he knows.
Glenn Roth.
Okay, all right. Gerdelarg. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Hang on. Gerdeler. Gerdeler. Gerdeler.
Girdly?
Yes. I can't. I can't.
Well, I think it's
Girdly.
I think it's fake.
That's right. It's Geddy Lee. All right.
Who is Canadian?
Final. Yes, Canadian.
Final one.
So that's
All right. And all right. 2 more. Mernoshamur.
What?
Manischewitz? What?
Mernoshamur. You know better than to ask me. Mernoshamur. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's fake, and I think it's
No, that's
Manischewitz.
real. That's Mano Chmore. It's Eglin Space Side Diego. I don't fucking know what this says. I just copied it out of Wikipedia. And the last one. Forskarn. Adria.
I'm going to say it's fake.
That's fake. That's foreskin. I'm saying foreskin in a Scottish.
Notice already start with F. That's all I know.
So who-
Cheers.
And
of
you
scoring
win. Each of you wins.
Everybody wins.
Everybody
Cheers.
wins. We've been drinking way too much, and we've been talking way too much.
And yet not enough.
Maybe.
Never enough.
Somebody has to drive home, and it's not me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been listening
Wait,
to the...
you live at Costco?
Man, we've been listening... Yeah.
Yeah. No, they
By
got-
the
they
way, I've got
beds.
so many giant jugs of peanut butter if you want one.
So much peanut
Every
butter.
night, I just open a brand new one. It's all smooth on the top. Stick 2 fingers in. Whoops, it's used. Got to put that one away.
That one's got-
Get a
yeah.
new one.
They leave a lot of stuff out when they do those little cooking stations, and you know
yeah.
that tent in the back where they have the camping
I do.
gear?
I do know that.
You're fooling yourself if you think no one lives in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've listened to the Army of Drunks Talking Funny podcast, way long thingy. Matt, you have anything you want to plug here?
No, I'm just the usual.
All
Any
right.
creams? Any salad?
Alex, do you have anything you want to
going to
plug?
work.
You got to be appearing at
Sounds-
the Ice House in Pasadena, maybe a little open mic. Little.
I'm going to be appearing at my house.
All right, Adria. What's the
Yeah.
name of your web series again?
Black Girl in a Big Dress.
Black girl in a big
Girl in a
dress.
big dress,
Yeah.
and look for it on YouTube.
Yeah, and blackgirlbigdress.com.
Oh, okay. And wherever web series are sold.
Wherever web series are sold.
Are you the only black girl in it?
I'm not the only black girl in it.
Oh my God,
I
that's
know.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's such a big step for you.
It is a huge step for me. There's even a black guy in it. Wow. Which is like a really big deal.
That's a really big deal.
It's like a really super big
You've
deal.
only, in your entire life, you dated a black guy once, right?
Never.
Once. I know you did it once. I remember
No.
you mentioning it on the show. You actually
No,
dated a
I've
black guy
kissed
one
a
time.
black guy once.
Okay.
I've kissed
I
two.
have too. I mean, come on. That's
that's
not a big
more time.
deal.
I'll be honest. I'm in my 40s and I've never kissed a black guy.
What?
I know. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah, me too.
not even in college.
More whiskey.
Not even in
And-
college, during your experimental phase?
I was not experimental in college. What I was depressed. So,
sure.
So anyway, I got nothing to push except there's probably more Invader Zim comics out
There's
there.
always
Yay!
Invader Zim. Look for Zim stuff.
And,
That's what
oh
Troy
yeah, and
does.
probably the series Mech X4 if you have kids
Mech
and you
X4
like
is on the
giant
TV.
robots.
That's the Disney. Is it a Disney?
Disney XD,
Okay.
not regular Disney Channel. Disney XD.
Look it
And
up.
if you got
Mech
boys in
X4.
your family who
Or
like
girls.
giant robots,
Girls can watch
like giant
robots,
robots.
too.
Oh,
Yep,
that
you
is
know?
total. Oh, yeah,
Racist.
Ding to
I'm
that.
so
watch
fucking
robots,
racist.
Ding to that.
Girls like robots, and you have been listening to the Army of Drunks Talking Funny
Funny
podcast
radio
experience, ladies and
Podcast
gentlemen.
program.
From Hell's Heart,
We stab at thee.
Good night. This has been another Army of Drunks Talking Funny podcast train wreck. You can go to our website for the list of whiskeys and our show notes. Also, some whiskeys Alex recommended that we didn't drink. As always, check out Patreon, check out Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Copyright 2017, Army of Drunks.